We're going to cover air pollution, and we're going to start with a review. So what percent, tell me our atmosphere composition. 78% nitrogen, 21 oxygen, and what's the other? Argon and greenhouse gases. Go ahead and put that because that's not on here, but let's add it. 1% argon and greenhouse gases, okay? That should be a percent, not an and. Tell me about the layers. First layer. Tropo. It has everything that we cover in this class. Life, weather, all major air pollution problems, except one. What's the one thing that doesn't happen in the tropo? Ozone, because it's found where? Strato, good. And then what follows? Which is what? The cold. And then thermo, which is hot. And then which is full of ions. Good job. So air pollution can be naturally occurring or by human activities. When we define air pollution, it's always going to be when you have specific substances, or more importantly, chemicals in the atmosphere at a specific level that can cause harm to some degree. Not necessarily harm to your health, because it says unhealthy, but harm to the atmosphere or the earth, which can lead to your health. Okay, so it's not directly health related, but whenever something burns, think about the fact that pollution is occurring. Let's go over some natural sources of air pollution. What are they? Volcanic eruptions, forest fires or wildfires. What does this look like right here? Dust, good. Anybody know what this is? Causes a lot of allergies. It's linked to heavy allergies. It's by season, good. Pollen or plant debris in general is a big natural source of air pollution, especially now. Has anybody ever seen dust under the microscope? All right, two main groups of pollutants. One enters the atmosphere directly, and they're called primary pollutants. Basically, they can be emitted naturally or by human activity, but whatever produces this pollutant, the compound will go straight into the atmosphere. And then any secondary pollutant, which is the other group, is going to be a mixture of primary pollutants with any other compound. All right, so this pie chart here is going to be a pie chart that describes what are my primary pollutants, okay? This one is what causes them. This yellow is not directly linked to this, okay? This particular thing leads to all of these, okay? So I want to mention that really quickly. But give me an example of a pollutant that you're aware of that's considered primary pollutant, that once it's emitted, it goes straight into the atmosphere. Or carbon dioxide, good. Now, carbon dioxide is not on this chart, and it's not because it's not a primary pollutant, although there is a lot of books that leave it out. I think the reason is the little bit amount of carbon dioxide that's in the atmosphere is not considered to be one of the 5 primary pollutants, okay? But it is considered a compound that goes directly into the atmosphere. And if I was to ask you a test question, why is carbon dioxide a pollutant? We know it's important, so what makes it a pollutant? To cause what? What is carbon dioxide linked to? Global warming, good. So although carbon has to be in the atmosphere, it is in a level that's causing Earth's climate to change. So this is where it's considered pollution. What's another primary pollutant? Or who could tell me, what do you think is the leading cause to pollution in the atmosphere? Factories is one of them. I'll give you that. What else? What do you think? Good. Transportation is number 1. Cars, airplanes, trains, all of these emit every primary pollutant. Burning, you said factories, and I'm just going to release this one, because burning fossil fuels in a energy power plant, else, leading cause of air pollution? Agriculture is actually not on there, but it could be under miscellaneous. We've got solid waste disposal, okay? So your landfills can also, or even incineration. Any type of waste disposal can lead to air pollution. Now, what can transportation produce that's a primary pollutant? What do cars make besides carbon dioxide? Good, carbon monoxide. And we're going to go over each one of these pollutants and what they cause. Then we're going to cover the cause and what links to it. So we're going to learn it twice, in one direction and then the other. What else do cars produce that goes into the atmosphere? Or burning fossil fuels? Sulfur, good, sulfur oxides. What? Methane is a volatile organic compound, so which is not there, it's here. Good. Any kind of organic compound can be released. Any compound containing at least 2 carbons, and methane as a unique form of an organic compound. Particulates, which is like matter, okay, floating. And then one other one. Good, nitrous oxides. So here's a diagram. Even though the major causes of pollution are here, it could also be from natural causes like this, volcanic eruptions, but here are your primary pollutants: hydrocarbons, particulate matter, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, okay? And then these would be secondary. Any type of mixture. These can mix with water and form secondary pollutants, okay? Here's another diagram. And this link, the EPA, we're going to go to it. You're going to see, like, let's say in Florida or even in Broward, what levels of these primary pollutants exist, whether they're at harmful or the what's considered to be acceptable. We can click on each one. All right, so we're going to do each primary pollutant, what it is, what leads to it, or what contributes most to it, and any effects it could have. So carbon monoxide, which was a big part of the pie chart, is odorless, colorless, but poisonous gas. Most of my primary pollutants are going to be odorless and colorless. Not all, but poisonous is a whole different subject. Anybody know what causes it? How does carbon monoxide form? Because usually carbon is found as dioxide, okay? But do you see what's happening here? What's happening? What? I heard it. No. Incomplete burning. I gotta move the car because it doesn't let me move anything. Whenever there's an incomplete burning of carbon, carbon monoxide is produced. So if you see ashes or residue, like a barbecue, fireplace, right? Even organic burning. Wherever there's ash, there's going to be some form of incomplete burning. You have carbon monoxide. So we've got here, transportation is a big contributor, 80%, and it comes out of your car exhaust. So if you see the word car exhaust, remember carbon monoxide. Burning of organic compounds, because organisms are made up of carbon. Tobacco or cigarette smoke. And although it's a primary pollutant, most communities will meet the EPA standards, because if not, do you know what carbon monoxide leads to? Death. There's a lot of health-related questions on the AP exam, so I'm going to link some starting now until the end of the year. When you see the word hemoglobin or red blood cells, think of carbon monoxide, okay, or lack of. Carbon dioxide, what produces it? And I'm going to go ahead and type them here as you tell me. Decomposition. So you can have a list. What else? This should come like supernatural to you, huh? Respiration. What else? BFF. What else? Oceans. What else? What other kind of burning? Huh? Good. Organic matter or biomass burning. What else? One more. That's a biomass. Because trees take in carbon dioxide. Volcanoes. Good. Did I spell that right? So they produce it, but all of those are part of the cycle. So you want to know that 93% of carbon dioxide is emitted through the cycle. And I want you to start to realize that carbon dioxide is a key contributor to climate change or global warming. It is linked. And just like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide is odorless and colorless. What's the difference? It's not poisonous or toxic. Nitrous oxide, again, colorless, odorless. And notice I put NOx. You just want to know it's a nitrous oxide compound, okay? You don't have to get too detailed. Burning fossil fuels is a big contributor to nitrous oxide. Again, cars is also, because cars is #1 contributor to air pollution. And what else contributes nitrous oxide? Factories, industry, burning fossil fuels, burning what else? Biomass. Good. Keep that in mind. And what else do we always think of when we think of nitrogen? Agriculture. Good. Fertilizer. Now, fertilizers do not produce nitrous oxides into the atmosphere. It gets there when plants can't take it in at a rate fast enough to use it. Then it's in excess, and then it can end up breaking down and being released into the atmosphere. Now, for problems with nitrous oxide, I'm going to combine nitrous oxide, sulfur oxide, and possibly another slide because their problems are the same. Actually, these two. So nitrous oxide and sulfur oxide problems is coming up next. Sulfur dioxide, again, colorless, but it's not odorless. It's not toxic, but it has an odor. It actually smells really bad. So whenever you do like a mineral lab, the one that smells is sulfur. Anybody know what color it usually is? Yellow. 90% comes from what? Do you remember? No, volcanoes is one, so let's put volcanoes there. Okay, good. So rocks holds my sulfur. So the type of fossil fuel that's going to lead to excess amount of sulfur being produced is what? Coal, because it's my solid fossil fuel. This is where you get the term clean coal. Sulfur is so dirty. It produces more carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide than any other, and sulfur, even though sulfur is not a greenhouse gas. And then again, it's going to be produced through the cycle as everything else. I think that this is review. What is sulfur and nitrous oxide linked to? What problem in the atmosphere? Good job. Acid rain. Oops, that's smog. But acid rain is one of them. It's also linked to smog. And forget it, anytime a gas is emitted in excess, it could lead to respiratory issues. So whenever you see the word respiratory, pick that because that's definitely linked to air pollution. Who knows what smog is? Most are going to be hydrocarbons. Organic compounds means must contain at least, remember to smile. Oh God, I lost you. Carbons. Organic compounds have to have 2 carbons at least, except methane. Methane is the exception, okay, because it's CH4. It's caused by incomplete burning or evaporation. Transportation and burning fossil fuels is the main source, but in addition, any paint, solvents, cleaners, aerosol sprays, and dry cleaners produce heavy amounts of volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds are going to weaken your immune system and affect your central nervous system. So can obviously carbon monoxide, irritate eyes and nose, respiratory issues, headache, and damage major organs such as your kidney and your liver. Particulate matter sometimes is referenced as PM, so you want to make sure you know that. What's behind here? Old stuff? Okay. Sources are any suspended particle is considered particulate matter, and it could be solid and liquid. As weird as that sounds, you're thinking matter, but it can be liquid or kind of like in water, right? You're going to have burning fossil fuels as usual, and industry a big contributor. Mining is a big contributor. Construction and paving of roads. And then what are these pictures describing here? Natural disasters or fires. What else? What's this? Dust. And anybody know what this is? Yep, sea salt. 62% of particulate matter is naturally occurring, and 38% is actually caused by human activity. And of course, auto. So keep in mind, no matter what slide I covered, auto, industry, burning of fossil fuels is always going to be a major contributor to the primary pollutant. And then in addition, I'm giving you others. So you can breathe in particulates and they can end up lodged in your lungs, which obviously can lead to respiratory problems.